Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thrive Network. I am super excited because I've got a lovely guest today. Carishma, welcome to Thrive. Hi. So today we are going to be talking about how to live your best life. Everyone has their own version of success. And I believe that everyone has a worthy version of success. Each one's version of success is absolutely individual and wonderful. How do we celebrate that and how do we expand on it? How do we inspire people to live better lives for themselves? And so what I've done is I've teamed up with some of my favorite people who I think authentically live their best lives. So really choose to make decisions that help them be in alignment with their version of their best life.
Boundaries, setting boundaries. For me, it has been absolutely transformational. I was terrible at setting boundaries because I'm an empath and I'm very soft and very kind, and I really just want to be there and help everyone. And I will set myself on fire to keep someone else warm, and that really is quite true to my essence. But when I fell pregnant, all of that all of a sudden went out the window, and nothing else mattered besides me and my baby, and doing whatever it took to make sure that we were okay and happy and healthy. But it was really me stepping into my power and going, no, enough of this. And this is my little island, my little family that I need to protect. And if you're not bringing anything that's going to add value in a positive way to this little island, then you're not allowed on my island.
I love that, because how many of you listening right now are yes people? How many of you don't know how to say no, and you just say yes way too many times and overstretch yourself? We are going to be discussing her top 10 tips on how to live your best life. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thrive Network. I am super excited because I've got a lovely guest today who is also a dear friend of mine. Carishma, welcome to Thrive.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Yay, finally, I'm so excited to be here.
I know, it's so great to have you here because we've been trying to find a time to actually get you on, but you're a new mama, and so that obviously takes preference. So today we are going to be talking about how to live your best life. Everyone has their own version of success, and I believe that everyone has a worthy version of success. Each one's version of success is absolutely individual and wonderful. How do we celebrate that and how do we expand on it? How do we inspire people to live better lives for themselves? And so what I've done is I've teamed up with some of my favorite people who I think authentically live their best lives. So really choose to make decisions that help them be in alignment with their version of their best life. And so, of course, I had to invite this beautiful new mama to come and join us because I really do believe she is one of these people. We are going to be discussing her top 10 tips on how to live your best life. And then at the end of it, we will be taking some questions. So if you do have questions, you can just type them in the comments below. Remember that I can't see who's online unless you guys actually say hello in the comments, because it doesn't show me anymore who is actually online. And I know that we've got a global community. People tune in from all over the world, which I love to celebrate. So whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching a recording of it, I often go back to recordings. Just say hello from wherever you are in the world so that I can give you a shout out and say hi and welcome. So do that now in the comments below, and please do tag anyone you think would benefit from hearing these top 10 tips, because we want to empower as many people as possible. So now I am going to welcome you because it looks like you've figured out
I've
what you
sorted
were
it
doing.
out and it's shared. And I also love interacting with people. So yeah, anyone say hi and we'll interact. That's amazing.
We've got somebody saying hello from Macau. Jennifer, you were quick on the draw. Dawn, hello from England. So I see the comments are coming through. Yay, yay, yay. So I will keep looking at them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let us dive in. You are so many things. I mean, when I was trying to think of how I'm going to introduce you, it was really hard for me because I first met you as an actress. That was like my first introduction to you was as an actress. But there are so many more things that actually make up who you are as a person. How do you define yourself? I suppose that's probably a good place to start.
Wow, that's such a tough question because I also think it's definitely evolved over the years, and especially now becoming a mom. Because while I was pregnant, I thought about it. I thought, okay, what if this change or this diversion into motherhood means that maybe for a while I can't be an actress or a presenter or whatever? I was like, who am I without that? And I didn't really know how to figure that out. For me as an artist, especially, so my life is my work, is my art, is my passion, you know? So I don't know. I still haven't found an answer to that, to be honest. I think it's always an evolving kind of answer.
Yes, no, absolutely. And you know what I love about that? Because, I'm sure we've spoken about it, but I don't actually know if we have. But when I got sick, I kind of, I lost all my titles. Like before I got sick, I had all these titles, executive producer and presenter and, director and all of these things. And then I got sick and everything fell away. And all of a sudden I was just Susanna Kennedy. And I had to kind of really look at what that meant for me. And what I've realized, and I think a lot of people, and this is why I'm bringing this up, Karish, is because I think a lot of people during lockdown at the moment are going through the same thing. They're having to reinvent themselves and truly define who they are without a job title. And so when I think of you, I think of bubbly, positive, wholesome, spiritual, centered, human. That's what I think of. Curious. I know that you are somebody who likes to explore things and try different things, and you're brave, like you'll try different things. That's what I experience from you. And then I've watched how you've gone from being this actress who dives right in and gives it her all and a public figure in that way to diving into being a mom and just being so brave and also honest and vulnerable in that. And I think that that is one of the very key connection points for people is this absolute honest vulnerability that we are so needing more than ever.
Definitely.
At the moment, because people are really going through so much. And so that's why I thought, let's do that. Let's do your top 10 tips, because that for me is what sums up you. And I'm sure that I'm going to learn more, and I'm always excited to learn more.
But that's so beautiful to hear. I don't know, for me, it's always so nice to see. We were just talking about this yesterday with a few friends, like how you see yourself and how kind of the world sees you, and where are the points where those two people overlap.
Yes. Because it's never the same, right? There's similarities and there's overlaps. But I also get that. I get people going, but you're so much more like this, or you're so much more like this.
Exactly.
Like, oh, wow. Okay. Where are these things overlapping,
And just coming back to that quickly, I also find that I think who I am, I mean, there's obviously a core version of who I am, and I really relate to a lot of those things that you just mentioned. But I'm also really evolving, and I think like on a day-to-day basis, like just really changing. I think it's because I'm so curious and very introspective, and I've always have been that way. Is that every day I'm kind of analyzing, I did this. Did I enjoy it? Is that a part of me? Where does that fit into my life? That kind of thing. Always evolving.
It's so good. It's so great. Okay, so we're going to dive in, and we're going to start with your first tip of your 10.
Okay,
And
I've written some things down because mom brain is a real thing, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
That's perfect. I think that it should be a conversation anyway. So I'll go through them, but we have a conversation around them. And guys, if they resonate with you, like just give us a yes in the comments below, or if you have a question, pop them in the comments below. We do have Canada, England, Europe, so many different countries tuned in at the moment. Hello to you all and welcome, guys. So lovely to have you here. So Carishma, what is your first tip that you'd like to share?
Okay, so my first tip is to living your best life is really finding your joy. For me, success means living a joyful life every single day. No matter what I'm doing, whether it's in my career or in my personal capacity, I want to know that I have lived a joyful life every single day and that I can inspire people through that joy. That's very, very important to me. And what joy means to me could be very different to what joy means to you. So that's why I say it's really finding your joy and really tuning in and blocking out the world, like all this white noise that we constantly bombarded with from like the media, social media, friends, family, whatever. Just kind of centering yourself and figuring out what makes you happy, what makes you feel so full of joy that you just want to like explode and jump around and like be like a kid, and then try and do that every single day. And it could evolve, it could change every single day, but find your joy.
Yeah, be conscious about it. And I think a lot of people go, but how do I figure out what my joy is? And they, like, I would say, tap into your feelings, like actually pay attention to what makes you feel different ways, because the more you do that, the more you'll start being aware of what your truth is. Do you agree?
Completely agree with that. And I think it's about experimenting as well. I mean, go for a walk on the beach and then go for a walk in the forest and see, like, does that make me feel different? Which brings me more joy? Maybe they bring you equal joy. And then maybe, just walking in nature, is it for you. Try cooking lunch, try cooking dinner, like just, experiment with your life, but be conscious in everything that you do and really take those moments to realize, oh my goodness, this is making me so happy right now. And then try and do more of that every single day.
Yeah, so explore, have fun. I love that. So find your joy, consciously seek out your joy. I love that. So that's number 1. What would be your number 2?
Boundaries. Setting boundaries. For me, it has been absolutely transformational. I was terrible at setting boundaries because I'm an empath and I'm very soft and very kind, and I really just want to be there and help everyone. And I mean, I will set myself on fire to keep someone else warm, and that really is quite like true to my essence. But when I fell pregnant, all of that all of a sudden went out the window, and nothing else mattered besides me and my baby and doing whatever it took to make sure that we were okay and happy and healthy and thriving. And whether that meant, saying no to my mom or my parents for the first time, or disagreeing with them for the first time, or whether it meant, telling Gail, my partner, like, actually, love, this is what I want to do. And I mean, it wasn't the softest, gentlest way possible, but it was really me stepping into my power and going, no, enough of this. And this is my little island, my little family that I need to protect. And if you're not bringing anything that's going to add value in a positive way to this little island, then you're not allowed on my island.
I love that, because how many of you listening right now are yes people? How many of you don't know how to say no, and you just say yes way too many times and overstretch yourself and put yourselves in positions that you don't actually want to be in, which ends up depleting you? Just in the comments below, say me, so that you guys know that you're not alone, because and I can see that there's thumbs up going up. I wonder if anybody's brave enough to just say me. But I'm a yes person. I'm one of these really soft empaths, and so that's been one of my, and I was abused when I was little, so that's been one of my big lifelong journeys is finding those boundaries. And I absolutely love it, because I think, okay, there we go. There's some brave people, Jared and Jennifer. Well done for stepping up and saying me and owning it, because we all battle with boundaries and creating those healthy boundaries. I agree with you. What a great tip. Is one of the ways you end up serving others as well, because you don't let them down, because you don't overpromise.
Exactly.
And then not be able to deliver. And
I also just want to say, it's really about being mindful about what you are able to give your energy to. And just, I don't know, for me, having a baby somehow just really put things into perspective, like just so strongly for me, was like, actually, I have so little energy left for myself at the end of the day, like after dealing with a newborn. What am I really willing to put that energy into?
Yeah.
And how much is that going to give back to me and fill my cup in return? And if it's not going to do that, then I'm sorry, I'm not going to invest my energy into it right now. And I've had to realize that doesn't mean that I'm a bad person, that I'm a mean person, that I'm a horrible person. It just means that I'm a conscious person. And like you said, you've got to, sometimes I think as empaths and stuff, we feel very selfish if we say no, or we don't want to do something for someone. But like you said, we are actually thinking about that other person. Because what's the point in me saying yes to go to coffee, like with a friend, but I have no energy, like I'm depleted, and this friend really needs me to be there for her or for him or whatever, and I just can't give them what they need. I'd rather just say, actually, no, not today, maybe next week, where I have the energy to be there, to help them, to guide them, to support them, and to give them what they need as a true friend.
Absolutely. And being a mom, Karish, I think that this is actually one of the most important things you can impart on your children, because how many moms bring their children up going, you've got to look after yourself, you've got to put yourself first, don't allow yourself to be empty, but they're busy emptying themselves out. And kids are like little parrots. They literally just copy everything that you do. So they get confused. It's like, why are you telling me to do this, but you're doing the opposite? And inevitably, they're going to copy what they see, not what they hear more.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Exactly. And they're so intuitive. I mean, Isla picks up on our subtle energies. I mean, I think I'm hiding it so well, but no, she meets me where I'm at all day, every day.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. So the first two are find your joy, like actively seek your joy on a daily basis, which I love, and then set healthy boundaries. So important. What is your number 3?
Okay, so the number 3 tip is in relation to a quote, and it is very much how my dad taught me to live life, and it's very much his philosophy on life. And the quote is, when life is good, say thank you and celebrate. When life is bad, say thank you and grow. And that quote has kind of been my North Star in life. It's really been my compass and my anchor for every season of my life. I kind of keep on going back to it because it resonates so much. Life is never going to be just one thing. Life is constantly changing and it's fluid, and you have to be just as fluid. And you have to take the good for the good and take the bad for the bad. And I love that, it's almost like, it's never, what is the saying? It's never a failure, always a lesson. And that is that, because, life, yes, is going to give you good, wonderful, joyful moments that you deserve to celebrate so much. But it's also going to give you hard moments, because that's how you grow. That's how you evolve. It's only when you put into this difficult situation can you also be retrospective and think, wow, I've had it good, or I really have it good. Yeah. And I think that's so powerful, and that's so important to honor both the light and the dark of life.
Absolutely. I love that so much. There's actually, there's a great quote that comes out of Conversations with God. I don't know if you've read them, but
yes.
Doctor would not know healing without disease. Like we would not know the extent of our capabilities without the challenges that present themselves to us in our lives. And it's up to us whether we step up to that challenge or whether we shy away from it.
Completely.
So I love that. And what a beautiful.
Because I mean, you can take, something that is seemingly a failure and turn it into a success, but it's your mindset. It's how you choose to approach it. You can be like, oh my goodness, this is happening to me. It's so awful. Woe is me. Or you can be like, well, okay, like shit, that was pretty crappy. But, what can I learn from this, and how can I grow, and how can it help me to take that next step and turn that into a success?
Beautiful. I love it so much. Dawn is saying that her daughter told her to set boundaries and it has helped her to feel less stressed. So,
Completely.
it really does help. And the fact that, our children in today's day and age are actually, they're so full of wisdom, and they're actually coming up and saying, actually, parents, this is what you should be doing, it's so great as well. So I love that. That was number 3. When life is good, say thank you and celebrate. When life is bad, say thank you and grow. I love it. What is your number 4?
Adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes back to the same thing that, life is constantly changing, and you have kind of got to meet it at that place of fluidity. And be able to change with ease. Change isn't always easy. Change hasn't been a word that's been my friend my whole life, if I'm honest. But adaptability has definitely been a friend of mine recently. To know that you never know what you're going to get. There are no guarantees in life. There are no certainties. The only constant is change.
Yes.
So I think the sooner you can make friends with your powers, or harness your powers of adaptability, I think the easier you are going to find those moments of change.
Absolutely. There's that lovely saying, get comfortable in the discomfort, because it's going to be there. Things are going to change. So get comfortable with the fact that you're uncomfortable, so that you can move and flow with it. So I love that. Be adaptable. Be adaptable. So what is your number 5?
Embrace your shadow. So I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware of, your light and your shadow self. And we so often, not obsessed, but I mean, we focused on our light and stepping into our light and stepping into our power, that kind of thing. But I don't think a lot of people realize that actually doing a lot of shadow work, stepping into your shadow self, accepting your darkness or your failures or your bad, or I don't know, however you want to word it, but just accepting that you are always functioning in a bit of duality. You're always going to have light and dark in you. And the moment that you embrace that dark, you're able to really, really step into your power and stand powerfully in your truth of who you are as an individual.
Yeah, I agree with you so much. So I do a lot of shadow work with my students, and because I believe that so when we speak about shadow, guys, it's those parts of us that we deny. It's those parts of us that we rather hide from the world, and even from ourselves, that we feel embarrassed or shamed about. And I do a lot of work around that, because I agree with you. I think that there are gifts within these shadows. And when we can find the gifts and stand in the truth and really own all aspects of ourselves, we are our most powerful self. But when we're denying aspects of ourselves, that's when we're living with, I think it's one of the greatest causes of anxiety, actually. And I know a lot of people are feeling anxious, a lot, and depressed. And it's because they haven't actually embraced all aspects of themselves. So I think that is essential. Embrace your shadow. And when you do, and you do it correctly, it can make you feel so whole, and it's not about ego, but it's about feeling whole, isn't it?
Completely. I mean, I only discovered shadow work literally maybe 3-4 years ago, and it blew my mind. Because coming from an Indian community, we really are taught, I think in general, to shut down a lot of that. Anything that's going to cause embarrassment or like kind of rock the boat a bit, you're like, no, let's shut that down. And that's kind of how I grew up. And And then I discovered the shadow work, and I stepped in, like, it was like, wow. And like, especially in terms of being an actor, I was just able to own it, Susanna. Like, I was like beyond powerful. I remember really going to like my first few auditions after that, and casting directors that I've actually cast for millions of times before were like, wowza, who's this girl?
Yeah.
And it was like, what happened? And it was incredible. And I also believe, like, roots grow in the darkness under the ground. And so really working with that, just think about it like that. You're really just growing your roots. And the deeper you can grow those roots, the more beautiful your tree and your plant can blossom and flourish and thrive.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Embrace your shadow. So just to recap for anyone who has just tuned in, Daniela is saying, embrace your shadow. I love this one. Daniela, I love it as well. And it really is essential. Hello, Benika. Welcome. For all of you that have just tuned in, I'm Susanna Kennedy. You're watching Thrive Network, and we are getting our top 10 tips of how to live your best life with the beautiful, amazing Carishma Basday, gone over 5. Number 1 was find your joy, like actively seek your joy on a daily basis, which I love. 2, set healthy boundaries, so important. Number 3, I love this quote and it will be with me forever. So thank you for sharing it with me. When life is good, say thank you and celebrate. When life is bad, say thank you and grow. I love it. Number 4, be adaptable. The only thing you can count on in life, guys, is that change is going to happen. So learn to be adaptable. And number 5, embrace your shadow. We're just about to dive into number 6.
Which is stay curious.
Yes.
One of my favorites.
I always say, always maintain your childish enthusiasm. That's my life.
And it's like one of the best things about having a baby is just like living that curiosity through her eyes. And it's like everything's new and everything's exciting and like it's so magical. And it's like, I mean, my husband laughs at me all the time because I ask a million questions. Like he's had the most like fascinating like life. Like he's French, but he grew up sailing the world on a boat that his dad built, and then he was a marine biologist, and then he was like an IT specialist, and now he's a helicopter pilot and works in anti-poaching. So I ask him like, and I'm fascinated with the ocean. Like I swear I've got like strong mermaid blood. So I asked him like the most random things about like, because he was a marine biologist. I'm like, you should know this. So like literally late at night we're lying in bed. I'm like, baby, so like how do you think sharks do like X, Y, and Z? And like, where do you think they live when they come, like when they migrate and do like all of these random questions all the time? But you know, it's just I'm curious about everything all the time.
It's so good. I really do think that actually maintaining your childish enthusiasm, and you say stay curious, is one of the secrets to staying young. You know, like you'll get people that are way older than they look, but they've got this youthful vibrance about them. Like I really believe that that's one of the ways that you do it. When you stay excited about life, it's almost like the juice of life just fills every inch of your being, right?
And just being like, being okay with knowing that you're always learning and you're never going to know everything. And I think that just opens up this whole new world and whole new dimension to life, to know that sometimes I think when I was younger, I used to often feel like I had to be an expert at something before I did it. So I was like, okay, I was too nervous to take like a boxing class at a gym or whatever, because I don't know, I'm going to look like so silly doing this or whatever. I'm like, well, duh, Carishma, that's why you're going to a class to learn how to do something. And I think once I like washed all of that away and was like, just be curious and know that you're always learning and always growing and that just like opened up so much for me, because now I just go into everything going, okay, let's learn, let's do this. How does this work? What can we do here? You know?
Yeah, no, I think it's such a great one. I absolutely love it. So that was number 6. What is your number 7?
Follow your passion. Like literally do whatever it takes to follow your passion, follow it hard. And I think tied in with that is be creative. So follow your passion and be creative. And I think that's the biggest mistake a lot of young people make, is that when they're thinking about a career or what they want to do, I mean, I know everyone has different circumstances to consider, but I fought hard with my family, because my family is very like Indian. My dad's like businessman, entrepreneur, comes from a whole family like that. My mom comes from like a whole family of like doctors and lawyers, and very typical Indian. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go be an actress. And
Yeah.
they were like, okay, it was so foreign to them. But I fought for it because I knew that I would never be successful doing anything else, because my heart was not in it, And I really believe, like, do whatever. If you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, whatever, but like your heart really has to be in it. I mean, think about how much time and energy we put into our careers. It's a huge bulk of our life. And you need to find passion in there somewhere. And I believe it can be about everything. I can believe even the jobs that we might think is mundane, hold some passion for certain people, because we are also different and also unique.
Absolutely. There was a great, I think it's called Will Smith's Wisdom on YouTube. And he was saying, like, no matter what you do it with passion, and it will lead you in the right direction. And I'm very much paraphrasing, but he speaks about, like, if you're going to be a street sweeper, sweep that street the best that anybody's ever swept.
Exactly.
And that will lead you to like the next best thing for you,
Exactly.
I love that. So follow your passion. And I think that, I say this so often, guys, but now more than ever, there was a time where people said you can't have it all. I think now more than ever, we have the ability to have more of it all than we've ever had before, because we've got technology,
exactly.
We've got support systems, we've got such incredible things that allow us to do so much more than we could have ever done before. So I love that.
Completely.
Follow your passion. Okay, number 8.
Stay true and trust yourself.
Good one.
For me, that's so huge. Like, I think so many people walk through life without ever really tapping into their intuition and really trusting themselves. And I think that comes with a lot of knowing. So knowing yourself and maybe doing a lot of that shadow work or whatever it is, but just staying true to who you are, what you believe, what your passions are, and trusting yourself in that. So don't doubt yourself. Don't be like, oh, well, I believe this, but I don't know. Like, just, step into that power, step into your power.
Yeah, I think that that's so important. And I think that, again, now so more than ever, the universe is like calling in this element of sovereignty, of really listening to who you are at your core and being true to that, instead of being a yes person. So it's so interesting, because that's also a lot of the work that has come up this year with so many of my spiritual teachers, and coaches, is the sovereignty of going back into you and not being just a yes person, having those boundaries in place, listening to who you truly are, what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy, and moving to that place of trust within yourself. Because I mean, all of you, I'm sure you agree, guys, and let me know in the comments, like, when you're being true to yourself. When you're stepping away from being true to yourself. And 99% of the time, I guarantee, when you're stepping away from being true to yourself, things do not work out for your best.
Completely. And I think it's also important, like, you're saying, like, just also not to be molded by social media, which is such a big one in this day and age. I mean, I find myself falling into that trap often, and I kind of got to pull myself back and go, no, girl, like, that life ain't for you. It like, because it looks so great, and like, you're thinking like, why am I not partying that hard, and why am I not doing shooters? I'm like, well, wait a minute, like, you're 33 and you have a baby. Like, not that I'm saying that you can't be 33 and have a baby and like still do those things, but it's just not my life. It's not, but sometimes I'm scrolling and I get caught up and I'm like, whoa, these girls are jawling and these girls are having, I'm like, well, actually, do you want to be out till 3 a.m.? No, you do not. You want to be on your couch in your pajamas, snuggling with your man and your baby. Like, that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
You get so caught up in social media. It's so easy. And it's difficult sometimes to like just bring yourself back. And like, I've had to do a lot of work to kind of catch myself almost immediately in those moments and go like, actually, no, that's not the life.
Yeah. No, and I think that, I mean, I said it at the beginning of this segment, but it's one of the things I honor about you is that you bring things back to truth. Like you actually bring things back to truth. Like I remember the post you did about your first bikini shoot after having, or costume shoot, after having a baby, and just the roller coaster that you go through of being so joyful and filled with love that you are getting to carry this little human being. But the changes that happen to your body and coming to terms with that, like it is a huge pull in two different directions, right? And just being honest about it and going, okay, well, this is what my body's been through, and I love that. I love that you kept it real, because too many people just put that lifestyle that you're talking about, that aspirational lifestyle, which of course, so many things are great to be aspirational, guys, and I'm not putting that down in any way, shape, or form.
Of course.
There is a balance that is required for honesty. And
yes.
and so that people also don't feel like, oh my gosh, that person's living like that. How come their life is so perfect? I promise you it's not. Nobody's life is perfect. Everybody has challenges.
And nobody's life is a complete opposite. I'm really struggling with that just quickly in this sphere now, like of being a mom, where it seems to be divided, where there's moms that are posting all this like, very aspirational, I'm like a girl, like boss, like I'm a mom and I'm an entrepreneur and blah, blah, or like I'm living this best life with my baby, whatever. Or there's like the other side of it where moms are like, oh my gosh, it's like postnatal depression and it's so terrible and I put on this weight and like all the real bad stuff, I'm going, wait a minute, guys. Neither, like, it's such a duality, and like neither one of these is completely true. Everyone's saying this is real motherhood and everyone's saying this is real motherhood. I'm like, no, it's not. It's actually a combination of the both, because I have beautiful, joyful moments with my baby and I have horrendous moments, and I think it's about really being honest in that, and like it's just as valuable to share the bad as it is to share the good.
Absolutely, and I love that. I actually might make that your number 11. Okay, so what is number 9?
Be kind and remember that it's important to show your vulnerability.
Yeah, it's so important. And I'm writing this all down, you're bad and you're good. Okay, so be kind and share your vulnerability. Why? Like, what has that helped you with?
It costs you nothing to be a kind human. Like, it really, really costs you absolutely nothing. And the ripple effect that your kindness is going to have in this world is more than you could ever imagine. That you just can't fathom, how much a smile, a hello, or whatever is going to transform someone's day, someone's week, someone's month, someone's life. And vulnerability, like, this world just needs so much more of that. It just needs so many more humans coming together in their vulnerability, because that really is what holds us together as like the human species, that like we all are vulnerable human beings. I don't care who you are. I really don't care who you are, what you've achieved, what you've done. You will still have moments of vulnerability, whether it's in your shower by yourself or whether it's with your family or whatever. We all are vulnerable, and we need to kind of come together in that power and stop being so afraid of it. Like, because it is the one thing that connects all, and it's powerful and it's therapeutic to be vulnerable. I struggled with it. So in my family, I was the one that held everyone together. So I always I didn't have the luxury of being able to cry and have a shit day and whatever. And I took that into my life for so long until I really met my husband. And he was the first person that allowed me to just go, okay, I can have a bad day. I can be sad. I can be whatever, and know that that's not like the end all and be all of everything as well. But I get to have those moments so powerful and so vital, you know?
Yeah. I think it's so important. So many of us, move away from allowing ourselves to feel everything that we need to feel. And the reality is that if we don't, those feelings get trapped inside us. And that's often what leads to disease and, mental challenges. It's so important to allow yourself to feel so that things can be released. So I love that. Be kind and share vulnerability. And being kind, I agree, Krish, it's so amazing. Like, you will remember, I know that I do, when somebody does something kind, like it just stands out for you and you remember it for years. If you think about that person, you go, oh my goodness, that was that person that did that, So yeah, I'm so with you. Those are two beautiful.
And just in terms of like vulnerability as well, like I think as women, it's so important for us to share our vulnerability so that we all know that it's okay, because, as women, I think we really don't share our vulnerability, and we taught not to. We taught that that's a bad thing. And I think the more women share, seeing other women share vulnerability on social media has given me power to do the same.
I agree.
And I think that's just a circle that keeps on going round and round and round.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's so important. Number 10. I can't believe we're at number 10.
I know. So my number 10 is the 80-20 rule.
Yes.
So, and this particularly for me relates to kind of food, because like you, I'm a huge foodie and my life revolves around food. And I like that's like one of the things that brings me true joy in my life is food. But we all want to be healthy and in shape and whatever. And so kind of the 80-20 rule for me is just like, if 80% of the time I'm making the good choices, doing the right things, then 20% of the time you can have a jewel and do whatever, you want to do. And it's a beautiful, because I don't want to be constantly living by saying no to myself, like no to the croissant, no to the cake, no to the pasta, no to the wine. Like, that's a terrible life to lead, or no to anything else for that matter, but I still want to be making healthy, good, wise choices in my life.
I am
80-20 is like allows me to do that beautifully.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I also live by that. Sometimes a little bit more 70-30.
Yeah.
But I try and keep it 80-20, but sometimes a little bit more 70-30, I must be honest. But I really do believe that we get one life in this amazing body, in this our consciousness that we are experiencing right now. And so we have to live a full, exceptional life. If we can, we must do everything we can. And I am so food for me is life.
All right.
I love it so much. And so why would I deny myself the experience of eating a beautiful hot croissant with melted butter and cheese? Exactly. So I'm with you 100%. And some people do it. I don't know how you do it, but I do. I give myself that room every day. So it's not like I am strict with myself all week and then splash out on weekends. Like, I'm pretty healthy in my choices. And so if I feel like a piece of cake, I'm like, okay, cool, have that piece of cake. I'm not like, no, you're denying yourself now because it's weekend and then it's weekend.
And I also don't like that thing, because then I think then it's still out of balance. If like in the week you're totally strict and then the weekend you like be binging and all these things, you're like, I only have these 2 days to do it. Whereas if it's an everyday thing, it's just a little easier and a bit more fluid.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite interesting because I remember at the end of last year, I had a friend that was living with me, and she was like, I'm going to do Sober October. Please do it with me. And I was like, I really don't need to, because I don't overindulge to the point where I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to now be strict diet and so
exactly
bad, because my life is
exactly.
actually in that balance point where, I eat well enough. If I want to have a glass of wine, I have a glass of wine, but I'm not out of balance. So I think that I agree with you completely, getting your life. And I think that principle is so good for every area of your life. Like, make sure that you are looking after yourself in that way, that you are looking after yourself the majority of the time. And then 20% you can have fun and do those things because you are in balance and you're not out of balance. Yeah.
Yep.
Good one. And I'm going to keep that one, number 11, be just as vulnerable it's just as valuable to share the good as it is the bad. So for those of you who are on social media and you are creating some form of profile for yourselves, whether it is for your business, whether it is as a personal profile, whatever it is, I really do think that sharing the good and the bad, like you said, is equally valuable because it makes people relate to you. They don't think you're out of reach. So I love that one. Keep it as your number 11.
Yay, I love that.
I love it so much. So we're not out of time yet. If anybody does have questions, they can ask some questions in the comments. I'm sorry I haven't been waving at all of you. I do have a question that's come in from Daniela. How do you stay true to yourself when you lived a big part of your life pleasing others and allowing life to happen to you? So that's a question from Daniela. What advice would you give Daniela?
I think, Daniela, that I've been there, so I really resonate with that. I think it's about really taking time out for yourself to figure out who you are and who you want to be in this world. And like really taking a big chunk of time to really sit with yourself and think about those things, write them down if you need to, but let them be strong and powerful in your mind, so that, because there are going to be moments when you step back into like your reality, that they're going to be things that are going to pull you in other directions because you've been so used to that your whole life. So you need to have those anchors of those few things that you've written down that is so true to you, to keep pulling yourself back towards yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that I always find quite useful, guys, is just stopping in the moment. Like when you feel yourself being pulled in a direction that doesn't feel good, like when you get that feeling of like, oh, this is not good for me, like actually stopping in the moment, allowing yourself to feel that and keying into your true self and saying, do I want to do this? Like, is this what I really want? Or does
it resonate with me? Exactly.
Resonate with my higher self. And then just making a better decision for yourself. And just one at a time, so that it's not overwhelming. So you're not trying to change everything about yourself, but just one at a time, making a decision that just serves you a little bit better each time.
Completely.
I find that really helps, because otherwise we can feel overwhelmed. Don't you think, Carishma? Like sometimes
totally.
It's so overwhelming. You go, I need to change, and I like all of these big plans. But
yeah, and it's those tiny steps. And those tiny changes, and even like with the boundary setting, it's not about all of a sudden saying, whoa, everyone, no, don't come near me. It's about just, listening, tuning in and setting those little boundaries slowly but surely that make you feel a lot better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jared is saying, I just want to say thank you, ladies, for this live session, reminding me to look after myself. Absolutely a pleasure, Jared. Thank you so much. I am going to ask Carishma one or two questions of my own, but you guys can type in questions below. Well, we are almost finished. Daniela is saying, thank you. I'm doing what you said and spending time alone and remembering who I am and what I want to become. That's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, that's amazing.
I love that. What has been the biggest gift about becoming a mom for you personally as a woman?
Stepping into my power. Like really, I thought I did it before, like a few times in my life when like big things have happened. But this has been like, whoa, like completely aligned, standing in my power, staying true to myself, taking no bullshit from the rest of the world. Like, it's been quite incredible in that way for me. And just like, there's this incredible sense of self-worth, self-trust, self-value that's come with that, because I'm like, I grew a human and I pushed a human out of me, and now I have a human and I'm raising it and I'm taking care of it and she is thriving. So that must mean I'm pretty damn awesome, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And she is so cute, guys. You've got to jump onto Instagram is Carishma's favorite platform. Do you want to maybe tell them what is the best way of following you, getting in touch, anything that anybody wants to do, learn more about your journey?
Definitely on Instagram. I'm an Instagram girl, like through and through. So I'm very active on there. I love communicating and chatting in DMs. I post a lot about my life, about my family, about my journey, about my work. There's a few new projects coming out, so that's exciting. So if you guys follow me, you'll be able to know all about that.
Yay. So guys, go and check Carishma out. She is so divine. I will tag her in everything. We are at the end of our time slot. You did a post about it the other day, which I thought was so good, on how to support your favorite people on social media.
I mean, it costs nothing for a like or a comment, guys, like I said, or a share on your stories. Like, it really doesn't cost you anything, but that just helps the Instagram algorithm to recognize, oh, people are liking this post, people are engaging with it, let me show it to a wider audience. And that's the only way that we can really build reach. And, you know, Susanna's doing such powerful work here, and hopefully people like me and other people that she's has had on has such empowering stories to share, that we want a lot of people to be able to have access to this information. And the only way that's going to happen is the more times we like, we share, we comment. That's the only way Instagram's going to go, oh, okay, this is a great post, let me share it with more people.
Yeah, and that's for Instagram and Facebook. Shem, do you want to grab her?
Yes, I think she's with my husband. She needs to be on the boob.
Oh, so that's what on the boob. Okay, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful wisdom and your beautiful energy. It's been so great having you on.
Thank you. I've loved this conversation. I love you so much. Thank you for doing this incredible work, and thank you for making time for me on here.
It's such a pleasure. I'm so glad we got you on. And to everybody listening and watching, sending you all so much love and light. I hope that these top 10 tips inspire you and motivate you to create your own version of your best life. Bye for now. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.